said, run a light. It's in my...
Okay, let me retract the previous statement. A little bit ago, I posted a picture with this 2-liter engine that's in this Jeep Wrangler Unlimited that we were putting rock sliders on with the steps and doing an oil change service, and I was saying, not a Jeep, because I just don't really think that a Jeep can be a Jeep at a 4-cylinder, but I started thinking, I was like, you know, a long time ago, I believe that's exactly what they started off with. And this little turbo has a little something to offer. I'm driving around the block just to make sure everything's good and on the up and up, and it's a little punchy. So, hell yeah, you know what? Let me retract my previous statement. I am not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. And I'm gonna tell you guys I think I'm wrong, okay? I think if you want a Jeep with a 2-liter with the turbo, get some, baby. Woo-hoo-hoo! I'm gonna say no to the AC, but everything else flashes. All right, so it was a long, busy day, a little bit tired, feeling like it's beer 30, right? So before we go back, tonight's topic is gonna be the many uses of tape, because you know I use the shit out of tape on pretty much all my tools. Why? I don't know, because they didn't make it that way to begin with. So let me just show you a few of the tools that I'm talking about, and then I'm curious to know what you guys use tape for in the automotive world. All right, so here we go. You guys have probably seen this hot rod before. This is my 1/4-inch universal swivel Cornwell extension. You see I got tape on the universal joint because the pin started to come out, and it actually became too wobbly to use. Same exact thing with this Cornwell 3/8 drive, 6-inch extension with universal joint. Beat this shit, but you can see it. I put tape on it too. Snap-on just can't seem to get their shit together, right? Because they're not coming around anymore. So I had to use tape on here to not only stiffen it up, but to keep the fastener from backing itself out of the head. And then I had this little Icon stiff head ratchet, non-flex head. I kept dropping the damn thing, and I didn't want a comfort grip really, but I needed something to where it would absorb a little bit of oil, so I used some masking tape. Here's one of my bosses, and he does the same exact thing. You can see he's got a universal joint here. Same exact reasoning. Pin starts to come out and or starts to get ate up. Sometimes you just need it to be a little bit stiffer. But yeah, it is a thing that you're just going to use. So if anyone says there's no use for tape, oh, bullshit, man. I've got tons of uses. Not to mention some of the things that we've done, like you guys saw earlier, when we had the Milwaukee set up and the batteries are failing. I've even had to wrap electrical tape on this just to keep the battery in place. But all right, that's enough of my jibba jabba. I'm trying to get out of here. Time to go to the quick 6 and pick up tonight's festivities. I'll see you guys back at the house. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Justin again. As always, thanks for watching my channel. Welcome back. Cheers to those of you that have your beers. We're back in the garage over hump day. Now we're going into Tay-Tay Thursday and soon enough to be the weekend. So let's talk about a few things. So briefly at the shop, I showed you a few tools that I had wrapped in either electrical tape or masking tape. Now there are very many uses for tape. You can use tape to support the window when you're doing a window regulator. Masking tape being the best tape because it doesn't stick to the window and leave all the sticky mess. You can use duct tape to hold your bumper on. You can use electrical tape to wrap it around an air inductive hose or tube or PCV hose that you're not sure is the only problem when you're smoke testing a vehicle, so that could help. I've seen people use tape to hold electrical connectors together. I've seen people use tape and a tube sock with extra padding to wrap around their hitch just so they don't bang their shin against it. So you can use tape for a lot of different things. All right, let's go ahead and kick back onto a different subject, but still kind of remaining in the tool topic for this evening. So the screwdrivers. I've asked a lot of times in the stream how I feel about the screwdrivers. Today, I actually have one of those scenarios that just impressed the hell out of me. Now, I didn't have time to sit there and record it, but I'll put a little picture over here. So I had this throttle position sensor in this valve body, and the screws had been there for so long, whatever kind of Loctite they used to hold these screws in was tough. I mean, you couldn't really get a good crank on it. And I was using a little Phillips on this bit driving ratchet kind of deal, and I was supporting the head, and I was trying to move it over to crack it loose. Well, all it was doing was kind of partially rounding that Phillips fastener. Well, that's no good, right? Because if I round it out completely, I can't get it out. Now I got to take the throttle body off the car. So I do so. I put it on the Monster Mobile cart. I go and grab these Icon screwdrivers and a 5/16 wrench, which I slide up over to use for their hex fitting that they have built onto them. With having somebody else stabilize it, me pushing down with downward force and cracking it loose with that 5/16 stubby wrench that I had, it worked, man. These screwdrivers really bit down and bit in, and I was able to extract both screws. So once we got both the fasteners removed, we realized the TPS unit was broke. So we had to replace it with another one. And even though I used them to extract, there's no replacement screws, I was still, with these screwdrivers, able to put the screws back in and save the day, right? So that was really cool. These screwdrivers are of good quality from what I can tell. I had some issues with the Matco #1. I haven't ran into issues with the Icon #1s yet, but the #2 is what we were using today to fight this battle and battle 1, right? So 2 thumbs up so far to the Icon screwdrivers. I did also use that same exact Phillips head when I was putting these running boards on this Jeep, and you'll see here I was using the combination Icon wrench with the ratchet wrench, the reversible ratchet wrenches from them to secure the fasteners to the pinch weld joint for these running pretend rock sliders, but they're just steps to get into the Jeep, right? Well, I was using those, and I was using the screwdriver to pull it up and get it to a line so I could put those fasteners through the pinch weld to put that nut on and secure them. So I've been Iconing it up, and I think that in time, at one point in time, eventually most of the stuff that I have, I'll be using straight Icon for a while just to put it through the full paces, because I know I've been asked, well, how long do they hold up over time? How much time do you need in order to know that? Well, obviously, time dictates all. Now, we realized within the first month there were some blemishes with some of the sockets, but I didn't have any inside wear. Just outside wear right around where the teeth were initiated at the top of the socket. But down in the broach, I've had no wear issues. I've had no rounded fastener issues. The ratchets that were supposed to be on recall, I've had no issues with them either. I didn't even take them in for the recall. I did use some masking tape to mask up one of my stiff hand ratchets, but it was one of those scenarios, man. I was getting oil everywhere. I just kept sliding and dropping it. You heard early in the video. But anyway, you can adapt and overcome most anything, and I haven't had any further issues with them. I'm really excited to pick up the SAE set of the combination wrenches from Icon here within the next week or two and add them to the arsenal. And then at some point, I'm going to have to reorganize my toolbox, because right now all the Icon stuff that I have is pretty much in my second from the bottom drawer. I'd like to reorganize that so that way I can have them as my go-tos, but I don't know how I'm going to organize that just yet. Speaking of organization, one thing I forgot to mention yesterday was that in the March ProTech catalog, look who made it into the ProTech catalog. Tool Widget. Tool Widget made it into the ProTech catalog for March 2020. Congratulations, Tool Widget. I have enjoyed your wrench organizers. I haven't used them for screwdrivers, just the wrenches, and I've thoroughly enjoyed them. And I think it's really cool that we now see you here in the ProTech March 2020. I forgot to mention that last night. That's why I'm mentioning it in this video this evening. But hey guys, I know there are many uses for tape. Electrical, masking, packaging, duct tape, you name it. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions on the various uses that you use tape for, and what your thoughts and opinions are of the Icon screwdrivers if you have them and have been using them. I've been using mine now for a little over 2 weeks, and I've thoroughly enjoyed them so far, especially today. Cheers to those of you that have your beers. We'll see you next video. Deuces.